Is for a reason. KC, they win that out dominantly against GIANTX on map 1. As you guys can see, Martine here warming up in the AIM Labs warm-up for the next map. But before we get to talk about that one, what did you guys think of that first map? Very uncharacteristic, I feel like.
I don't think he needs to warm up. I just, listen, I don't think that there is a reason to sugarcoat this. Like, this was a 13-4. KC looking great, the way that they were working the map, that they were gathering information and reacting onto it. If you add that onto Breeze being a map where you can base yourself off of the individual performance, knowing that in KC there is no downside to that, I think it was a very rough start for GIANTX.
Yeah, I mean, KC just looked very convincing, but then GIANTX, I don't know, I feel like they just fell flat in that match. I feel like there wasn't, like, you can see Martina narrate, you know, like going in first, but then you see Vitinho and Purpo going in first. There's a clear difference, you know, like how in sync KC was.
Yeah, exactly. And we're looking at the head-to-head, right? That we're mentioning about the Jet, of course, Porpoise, first official map with the Giants. And I feel Martine was feeling it. Do not forget, he's actually the duelist of these teams, even though Narrate always has that kind of performance that it's a little bit of an eclipses a bit what Martine does. But I feel like, especially what we were seeing in Tube, the way that he was controlling the area, getting the kills, the way that everybody in KC was actually moving around the map, how confident they were feeling each time that they were peaking. But I feel like we also saw them from almost everyone in that team. The position that Tomashi was taking on mid just to shoot onto side, it felt like even though we hadn't seen them play this map yet, they know it to a T.
I mean, this is the thing, Purpo, a bit of a rough start here. Honestly, get my boy off of Breeze. I feel like every time Purpo has to come to VCT and play Breeze, he's always having a little bit of a rough time. And of course, he had to take on Martine, who was incredibly consistent at kickoff as well. We can ignore this a little bit because BONECOLD, maybe just some nerves, right? Having to step in your first game on stage as well. It can't be easy.
No, like 100% it's not easy to just, you know, like come to the venue and play your first game out. But I was still expecting, you know, like for GIANTX to actually put up, you know, like a little bit more of a fight against KC.
I think that we need to be mindful of the state that both of these teams have arrived into here. KC just coming in from Madrid. We saw them when they were playing on stage just here. They were vibing with each of the wins. You get both pistols on both sides. Like, everything is going on your favor. And as I said, individual duels, those individual fights, we're getting in at the perfect time each time.
I also want to have a coach cam of Pipson as well. I feel like we didn't see enough of Danny molding. Here he is now, but we will see Sunset coming up next. BONECOLD, what would you like to see GIANTX do differently on Sunset?
I feel like we just need to get, you know, like some light, you know, like into their eyes. I know the first map was hard, but I want to see, you know, like I want them to like set up Purpo, you know, like for good fights and let them pop off, you know, like let Purpo, you know, like have fun after such a long time, you know, like coming to Berlin and play. Let the guy just roam free, you know.
I love that we're seeing the papers and it said, like, a PowerPoint presentation, you say Karmine Corp, and I'm like, what did they have on Breeze? They haven't played on Breeze. What's on those lines?
Well, they have played on Sunset, and GIANTX beat Kaquka on Sunset the last time they faced each other.
Yeah, and not only that, ever since kickoff, KC has not played Sunset, so they didn't play it during Masters. Of course, there is that preparation coming in there, but also just thinking and seeing how prepped they were on Breeze, and also thinking that things might be different on Giants. I think that KC, you know, has an edge on this one.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, this is a map where a Giant before didn't run the Cypher, so BONECOLD, they don't have to kind of shoehorn Red Guy into a role that Nuclear was previously playing.
I haven't been really like going into the comps, but just looking at like from the previous match, I just hope that we can get, I don't know.
Would you like to see the double duelist, for example? Again, they did it on Breeze. Would you like to see it on Sunset?
Not really, to be honest. I would love to see them, you know, like Giants are always, they've been playing very, you know, like by the book. And I feel like when they're doing it well, they're actually playing like super well. We saw it last time in the last chance qualifier.
My question is, will we see the Sage? And if we see the Sage, who's playing Sage?
So hear me out, right? If we see Rega, for example, taking in the Cypher, it actually fits him. We know that he likes to lurk, that he likes to be the last one, and it's kind of the player that you can live on his own. But will we see him? Well,
let's find out now as we take a look here at Agent Select for Sunset, and it doesn't look like they're gonna do the Sage anymore. And this time around, BONECOLD, they got Hoodie on the Cypher. They've shuffled things around again.
Yeah, I mean, the comp is actually like, this is what I really like, you know, like this is something that I expected, you know, like very default-ish. This is kind of what I wanted to look like, see them from Breeze, but I'm really happy to see them, you know, like just going with something a little bit more solid.
Yeah, Tombizz also moving away from that Viper, and now he's taking what Magnum was in, and they're adding in the KO, more initiating power on the side of KC. I mean, that initiation going onto side, starting on the attack is going to be stellar. It's going to be explosive. And GIANTX has changed everything. Vitinho's no longer on that duelist. Yeah. It's just going to be purple, playing on the Raze. Also incorporating the Soba and, you know, moving away from the Fade and incorporating the Cypher. If KC had any read onto how Giants plays this map, it should go out of the window right now.
I love the Sova, but also I can't help but wonder, Purpo is a good Breach player. He has experience playing Breach, and Vitinho, of course, his Raze. They've swapped these two around.
I mean, maybe this is the new edge, the new way that Giant wants to do things. Maybe Fiti wasn't comfortable anymore. Maybe they want to give Purpo something that he feels more comfortable in. They decided to go for this player out of everything that was out there, so there has to be a reason.
Well, Giant, not a great start on map 1, but they have an opportunity to put it back on Sunset. It's time to jump into that map with Mitch and Tom and see if they can indeed turn this around.
Well, the good thing, Tom, is you never really get those one-sided maps back-to-back, do you?
Oh,
don't look at last season. Don't do it. I'm feeling like this is where GIANTX they've got the edge. Last time, comp a little strange when it came to Breeze, but now they're coming in. Purpo on the duelist, Vitinho testing out that support. I don't know. It's new. It's different. I'll reserve judgment till later, but it's possible.
I'm trying to figure out why they have the edge.
Odds on them getting more than 4 rounds.
I'd say there's like 50% chance.
There we go. I'll take those odds.
Oh god.
Look, it was a tough start. That's for sure. And now moving into the defensive side here on Sunset, they're not going to have control over the pace. That's something KC are definitely going to bring to the table. A quickened pace and a much faster play towards this B site, as the plant should be coming in fairly soon. Nice and comfy.
This is not going to be the easiest of retake. Attempting to try and close in the backlines as well. Obviously, Hoodie now taking over that Cypher. It seems like that role is going to be split between multiple players. Surprised Vitinho's not the one taking it, if I'm honest. I think Hoodie's Breach is one I enjoy, but nonetheless, we'll see how they make this work. This is something that KC almost enjoy. Getting into these post-plant scenarios. They now have that KO as well, which is going to add another layer in terms of the utility, and they may not even need it as they just slaughter every member of that GIANTX squad. The HUD can't even quite believe it just yet.
It can't keep up, Tom, and I don't blame it, considering how things have been going so far. KC, like we said, we expected a quicker pace. It's nasty to see that B setup as well, though. When you play retake on this map, on this site in particular, it is so difficult to avoid just being spammed out from main. There's angles they can hide behind, like this one here for Tombizz. You can't really hit him. There's only a pixel or so of him available, a little wider than that, but it's behind a box, it's through a smoke, and all he has to do is aim at a kind of 5-degree gap. It's very easy to stop that defuse, as we saw. Now for KC, 1-0 on the board. Doesn't look like they're going to change a damn thing, but GIANTX have opted to swap up the setup. Obviously with pistols now, they'll stack up on backside. They'll give them the space, but when they look to take it at the last second, the pistols come around the corner, unfortunately. Martin wasn't so hasty to get around there, and he's got the full breadth of the KC attack to back him up.
Shock dart replay.
It's about as easy as can be. And listen, don't go in on Cloud, right? We're going to let him have one little lineup whiff.
Lineup? I don't know if that was a lineup.
He's been practicing that one for days.
My flank is clear at all times because I'm shock darting behind myself. Well, for Purpo, this debut, it's definitely not started as he'd hope. Any damage he can do here would be nice, and it's not going to be happening. Narrate is going to add him to the death toll, getting ever closer to Thrash as well, which is not something you want to be facing off against in the early rounds. And this is where GIANTX should be able to get themselves in with a purchase. Now, the one thing I do like compositionally is they're going to have quite a lot that they can use to try and set up Purpo on this one.
No need. There was no need for the replay of that. Yeah, Thrash.
I wanted a slow-mo.
Very dangerous for Nara, yeah, to have these orbs on so soon. Thrash, not to be confused with Thrasher. That's what they call Magnum when he's swimming in the pool. There's an opportunity for them to get this online pretty much right away. An orb and a plant, which, you know, you're going to get with Gecko quite a lot of the time. It's been retake setups from GX towards B this time, though. KC are here to test their mid control with a straight-up blitz, a paranoia, and a dizzy used. So much space claimed. And KC now, they have their way with the A site. Redgar's isolated. If anything, they've turned their back to kill Purpo as well. And where does Redgar go? There's a player in front of him, some behind him, and they're all around. But Redgar got two. Maybe there's still a chance with a 2v2.
Yeah, there's a possibility. Already able to get extra information. The plant actually somewhat being faked. It looks like they're going to go back towards the B site. This is such an intriguing reset of the round. You can see the GIANTX players, they're slowly encroaching on A. They're making their way in. They're checking their angles. They're looking for their opponents. And they're not there. They're gone completely, all the way over to the other side of the map. You can even see Tombizz got time to reclaim some of his utility. And I think soon, for Hoodie, the penny is going to drop because he's cleared the entirety of the A site. Finally, they're going to start their run back to the other side of the map. But now they do have that Thrash online ready. They expect them to be closer, Mitch. They expect them to be much closer.
So yeah, he brings it back. I was going to say... Oh, but it didn't really make it that far around the corner. That's not retrievable. Thrash here, a glorified recon drone. It buys them a little bit of time, but there's a drone on the other side. GX will claim back that space, seeing one, but they didn't see the player close. It was destroyed too quickly. Tombizz has the jump, but he loses the fight, and Narrate's now alone. He's good in these positions. Clutching! It's so good! That connection, clinical, and he doesn't even flinch.
The funny thing is as well is it's almost like he let the first player run across. Because the thing is, again, GIANTX, I feel like they played that right. Hoodie runs across because he's low, and then Cloud is the one to peek. Narrate kills the peeking player and then goes back to the low HP one afterwards. I don't know if that's planned, intentional, but look, he snapbacks afterwards. That's disgusting. And 3-0 up, from bad to worse for GIANTX. They're now going to have to go in with a weak bye.
Oh, that's a devastating one as well. Just beaten out of the round by some innovative plays from KC. GX. They have some tricks up their sleeve. One of them just shown, early mid push, flash into the double blast packs, but it hasn't worked. And again, the target seems to be the B site. Close nade, not going to clear out any traps. It's the most important one to clear because you just cannot shoot that one. And they send in the wingman, but not with the spike. It wasn't a misclick. Yeah, they intend to hit the A site. And look, well, the rotations, I think it's fair to say they've come in on B. There's a lot of Giants players on that B site.
But the thing is as well, is what are you going to do in terms of utility to delay? Is Redgar going to use his paranoia here in an eco round? No. At least not until they get back into a retake scenario. Cloud at least having a weapon to play with is something. They're going to try and at least clear out mid. The fact is, though, KC, they're just playing this as a unit. Normally, you would have a lurker. Normally, you'd have a player behind. You don't need it when you've got such a high weaponry advantage.
It will be a question of damage. Even this early, a lot of KC players have low credits, and here comes GX, their chance now to make this costly. Good to start. 2-2 trades and keeping players close for the spike explosion, if it even goes off. In fact, Fatino's got 3 in just about enough time. Tombizz needs to be quick, getting out of the smoke, and he's hit the diffuser. He might just have won them this. It's close on fire.
He has as well. Oh, that's so disgusting. I love just the brains of the players on KC. They shouldn't have even been in that scenario. Ultimately, not a great round for them. They lose everybody. But the fact is, it's that split-second decision of, if I'm going to kill someone, it has to be the guy defusing. And that's exactly what it does. And from another young star. Like that's the thing I always enjoy about KC, is they are a team that are playing above their experience level, above their age. Like, you expect someone who's been on this stage a million times to come out and do a play like that. Tombizz, he's been in Tier 1 for a couple of months.
Hey, Fatino as well. He's not looked too bad. Purpo, though, leading the charge in this one. 2 quick kills, and they're fighting tooth and nail for it, but maybe a little too much. Overcommitting to the duels, perhaps, until The support comes in. Cloud and
Nice.
Vitinho tying that one up nice and neat. And that is one hell of a change from the round we just saw. But the round we just saw was Vitinho going in. 3 kills on the breach with a Sheriff. The confidence now might be regained a little bit by GX.
The big thing as well is the economy. Remember the last rounds that we've had it was coming down to the wire. A single player surviving and then 0 players surviving the round after. So actually the main problem that's there for KC is their finances are about as bad as you could ever have to actually buy back into this win. So sure, they have themselves Thrash, they have themselves a couple of SMGs, but that's not what you expect to see for a team that have won this many rounds.
Oh, what? That didn't get a kill. It barely
Okay.
scratched the surface, but Narrate. Okay, a return of something for KC. A Rolling Thunder still online. A Cloud Burst as well, but I was going to say no chance to use the Rolling Thunder. Narrate's actually had a little bit of a whiff. Vitinho a little closer than he was expecting him to be, and these pistols now left for walkabouts. Magnum won't find the space. Shin will be left alone. And with the spike down, it's not really a chance for him to get out of this one with a win.
No, it would basically be down to damage. Can he do anything? Can he remove some weaponry? And you could see GIANTX all grouped up as a unit, a firing squad that he should never be able to connect onto. And it will be another round onto the board for GIANTX. Again, though, not much, if anything, really invested into that round for KC. So this is, again, where you kind of expect to see a bit of a response.
And the last 2 rounds have seen a lot of aggression. Actually, the last few rounds have seen a lot of aggression out of the side of GIANTX. Now here, they can feel confident in taking those duels, considering the weaponry disadvantage their opponents have. They also started it out with a showstopper, which is obviously something you're going to use to break the momentum and charge forward. But it's something that can get a little bit predictable. I don't expect to see them throwing it out round after round. But here again, the blast pack play comes through. The stun has actually caught Purpo.
Yeah.
Which isn't ideal. But
Look
either
at the
way, there was
instant
no
rotation as well. That's the main thing. You already have yourself the majority of the players rotating over on the other side of the map to get themselves set up and ready. Now, the Thrash is at least going to clear some of the utility, but actually sending it forward is only going to slow them down. An immediate response off that Rolling Thunder, but the Showstopper is going to drop Redgar immediately. The flash through, however, is only going to garner a trade. And now that pushback coming through from the side of GIANTX, making things more costly, making things close, as it will just be Tombizz left. A 1 versus 2 as they look to peak this one together. Great work from GIANTX and a good round overall.
Yeah, another very good look from them. A great read. Obviously, on the back of the A aggression, they get so much control. They can be confident that that play is not coming in there, or at least they can rotate on time if it is. The B site has been just straight up blitz when KC go there. They take a lot of space. They overwhelm it. And although we've seen GIANTX play retake before, and it really didn't go too well a couple of times, now we're seeing them get ahead of that, actually fight, take down the wingman, not let the plant go in. This is much more of what we need to see from this squad. They're getting involved and really getting their teeth into this. A 3rd round already found.
Do it again.
On the heels of KC. Aggression. No, this is what I'm saying. It's not the same from GIANTX. You can't just push up like that every round. Eventually, there's going to be 5 guys staring at you when you make it round.
Look at the jump already. I thought Martin might actually be able to get away with that, as he does get very far forward. Again, they make these rounds look competitive, but the amount of HP they've already lost should make this easy pickings for the rest of GIANTX.
It would have to be a crazy round for them to recover. Even with this smoke down, those players aren't going to go barreling through. They'll give you the time that you want to get that spike planted, because they've got the numbers advantage to work with. I do like that they're just sticking together too. Just a blob of defenders. As I see Redgar go back the other way, get a little worried, but he's got the HP on them. And he was only holding it for a moment. 45 seconds, a ton of time. Looks like we're going round the world for both squads. KC might just get an open A site plan. But either way, this is the plan for GIANTX all along. Let them plan. Yeah. Maybe we catch them off guard here or there, and then we play the retake as a team.
The big thing is how much utility is available for GIANTX because of how fast-paced this round was for the side of KC. There's not really going to be any opportunities to wean out that utility. So you've still got Paranoia, you've still got Nade, Aftershock, Flashes, Stun. Like, they should have everything needed for them. Now, being in mid, they will be able to, or they should be able to hear what direction they need to go in. And the main thing for GIANTX is that they don't get caught off guard. They don't make a mistake giving up a kill. And for now, at least, They are still sticking together as a unit. The only worry for me is they are moving very slow.
Yeah, the timer's going to be ticked away. There's some weapons to spam with. Narrate, not really. He's on the Vandal. The chance for Shin. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be down to blind look, essentially. They're willing to gamble this round with the lower HP on spam wins. It's not always going to work out. Defuse underway. Out of bullets. Spray from Shin is good. A few bullets connect and Narrate closes it. They gambled this round on spams through the smoke.
Oh, no.
And it's worked out in their favor. KC can't put a foot wrong. The lead will remain in their hands.
They shouldn't have won that round. They really, really shouldn't have won that round. Like, the initial spam, I was like, okay, that's a nice kill, but surely still GIANTX are going to be able to convert this. And then the rate, what's that?
That's a headshot.
What even is that? It's just a blind random spray that just takes out one player and gives him an easy 1v1 on the second. I don't know how they've managed to take that one home. And actually, maybe they agree, because KC are going to be the ones to take a pause.
What a weird time to be alive, man. I've got Zelsis convincing me to be a fan of Sentinels, and then Narrate, possibly my favorite player in the EMEA as a North American. He's one of.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I'm not going to talk about the next match.
We all know who your favorite player in the EMEA is, so no one believes that for a second.
One up,
I don't think you've ever nearly ripped your hair out watching KC.
That's true.
Actually, maybe last year.
Well, that's
for very different reasons.
Melons. But yeah, no, this is like, Narrate is such a fun player to watch because he's the kind of guy that genuinely I'd be calling hacks on if we were in a ranked lobby. The things he does.
You're not in
just
ranked lobbies.
No, of course not. That's call him Smurfing at least. The shots that he hits, man, the shots he goes for, I think that's more the impressive thing, because he hits them. Sometimes that's just luck, but he gives himself those opportunities again and again. He's so cocky, but it works out. 11-4 right now as a Gecko. Thrash is almost back online. We've seen it a few times.
Also, Tombizz again, like as I said, I think before being in this team, he'd played Cypher 5 times ever. It's his second map in a row. It looked pretty decent on the last. It's looking fantastic at the moment in this map. It is showing just how much depth a lot of these, like I said, duelist players actually have within. Again, they're going to have themselves a free reign into the site. Now, bear in mind, there was early contact last time out. The afterplant didn't happen, and there was a lot in terms of the retake. They had a Rolling Thunder. Now, there is a Hunter's Fury available for Cloud, which he's going to try and throw through here. But he's actually had to give up on it, or, well, didn't have a choice because of the null command.
Yeah, had to give up on it very literally. Good ult by Magnum, countering it perfectly. Fight in towards spawn. They can't overcommit to this. GX are tucked in some nasty positions. In fact, it was Vitinho I was talking about. He's given it away as 3 look to push forward, but the reposition from Tombizz. You mentioned his Cypher looked good, but this is just him looking good. Fantastic play. And even though he's gone down to 4, he stopped Breach Vitinho from being able to put any util down, from being able to fight with his team. Maybe that trade would have changed the course of this entirely with the players in main. 80 HP, 30 HP. They just needed that extra gun in the fight, but they couldn't get it.
Do we have a rule that we're not allowed to show Shin multifrags live in the round? Because like, before it was a joke, but I'm genuinely starting to believe it now. Now, don't get me wrong.
Zilv hates Shin.
We should have been following Tombizz there because he had the right position to get the kills, and then Shin
100%.
just peeks and absolutely wrecks everyone. And this guy as well, like, you have to think about the team he was in last year, his own individual level last year. It wasn't even comparable to what we're seeing from him, even from kickoff, from Masters, and here today. And what, again, we were at a scenario where GIANTX get to 3 rounds, and immediately it's like KC just flip a switch, turn back on, and they're far in the lead once again. Now, this has been one of the major successes. That aggression coming out from Purpo spots nothing, but gets them info.
Again, though, that info's worked well when it's an A-site play or a slow B. This time, though, much pacier again. And the paranoia has delayed them entirely. Shin just about snuck away from that bullet. Dodged it. As GX look to wrap back around, that spike still needs to be planted. They want to take advantage of the chaos switch. Quick kills coming in. And Thrash used up. It's actually caught them. Huge with Redgar. I don't know what's happening with that right there. But he's caught Redgar in the end. Bought some time perhaps for Tombizz to come up and find this quick kill, make it more awkward, but he's left in a 1v2. Tombizz to do it all. And the defuse down right underneath his nose. He's going to go for the spams instead, but they're off it. They're willing to run down this clock a little bit, and the cage didn't quite reach where it needed to. Purpo on his 3rd kill of the round and gets GX a 4th.
Yeah, he's definitely looking a little bit better. I think with especially a lot of the retakes that GIANTX are playing into, they're sending in a lot of utility to just give him space, get back into the site. What? I don't even know who got killed there. But then, yeah, just moving as a unit and allowing him to just put that raw individual aim. And Fatinho as well, really putting up some numbers here. Now, they got that showstopper back online once again. And Rolling Thunder's not far away. So things definitely starting to look a little bit better for GIANTX, but there is still going to be a purchase coming in for the side of KC.
Well, fighting to equalize this scoreline at the half. GIANTX have quite a battle on their hands, looking for a B main crunch with lots of utility thrown through, but cancelled out. Well placed. Knife coming out of Magnum, but Shin's fall into the spams. They're running through this util, and they're losing their lives to it. A showstopper used, confirms the round. Purpo even landing his 3rd back-to-back. GX, 5 on the board. Rolling Thunder online, rifles in their hand. This could be a much better half than it was looking like it would be.
Yeah, it's been a sort of back and forth in terms of streaks of rounds, but to level it up after what was a pretty rough start to this map would really not be a bad showing from GIANTX whatsoever. I think as well, the fact that we are seeing Purpo come more and more into this game is going to be really important because he is the pinnacle. When it comes to that attack side, he's going to be the focal point of their entire move. Again, though, it seems like the same again. KC, they are not going to shy away from this B site, feeling comfortable in their post plants once they can get there. That's what GIANTX have been doing well, though. They've been stopping them getting there in the first place.
Well, that's it. Interrupting, disrupting these pushes. Last round it was inside B main. This time it's going to be market they fight for. Magnum quickly claims control. The retake on the backside, though, it's spiked down now under their control. GIANTX might have something to work with. They know the Purpo's here. They know the site is lost, at least they're spotting that as we speak. A costly bit of information. Good blast pack, but the player's too close. Cloud got his double. They've shut down Purpo, leaving it to the 1 versus 1. The sneak around from the right, 45 HP, spotted, trap destroyed, headshot angle, but Hoodie hits the shot. 2 HP remaining, but it's enough, just about.
Yeah, I was seeming like in some of the early stages of this matchup that the Cypher might just be a little bit cursed for GIANTX, and I won't lie, Redgar's still not been having the best of days. I think maybe having a new player, a little bit more micromanagement that needs to be done. But the half looking much better. 6 of the last 8 rounds going the way of GIANTX, and now, as said, heading into that attack side, that's where Hoodie's going to be able to get on those lurks a little bit more, and as said, that's where Purpo and Fatinho is still going to be that double duo, those setups that are going to have to be put into place well for him to get those opening kills.
Well, the second half is sure to be exciting. The pressure on for the side of GIANTX. They don't want to be kicking this off with a loss. Already making this map close against a team that did so well internationally and regionally last, I don't want to call it stage, but in kickoff.
Cover going out.
But that's not an accolade that they're looking for. They want to beat them. They want to take that spot in Shanghai, and it's going to be a long road for them. Even in this series, 6-6 pistol round, carry some weight. They can farm up some rounds. It could be good for them, but Redgar off to a poor start. He's dropped off rip, but it looks like they want to fight for spawn here.
Yeah, this might be the wrong call. There's a couple of players waiting. The flash should actually be able to catch. Martini dodges it, but still isn't able to take that fight. Magnum not quite quick enough on the trade. Narrate also looking to push in. He did damage early in the round to Cloud, keeping them low, but this death ball, the swing's coming out. It's not pretty for Magnum, but eventually he gets the job done. Left onto Cloud, dinked at the beginning of the round. Left on 20 to try and find 2. Spike planted, not in a bad position for him, but you can see Magnum already just pre-firing some of the shots. The smoke onto it is going to make things all the more difficult. Needs this kill immediately, and even the tap to the face isn't quite going to be enough. It will be KC to regain their lead. A second pistol as well in this map should give them good opportunity to convert it, but we already know that GIANTX are pretty good with those comebacks so far in this map, at least.
Yeah, they definitely have been. I mean, a slower start is never ideal, but they can pick it up towards the end, that's all good. Just the pistol makes it that little bit more difficult. It swings the odds into KC's favor. They've got the lead in the half, and they've got an injection of rounds. I don't expect to see a force buy coming out of GIANTX. Probably just take it on the chin and move on to round number 15. And as we can see, indeed, it will be just classics. The one Ghost on Hoodie. An opportunity to fight together. They use their utility off rip, stuns, nades. Actually, no, the nade wasn't even thrown out from Purpo there. I thought it was. I guess KC just using a lot of that utility to push GIANTX back, but they've pushed them into a wide open A site, barring the traps.
This is the classic setup, though. KC absolutely love to play retake on this map, so they are more than happy to give up that space, allow for that plant to come through. The only real danger in this round is going to be Hoodie on the lurks. It's being checked for, but he is so passive that he's not going to be found. The only thing will be if he can hit that timing just right. The thing is, the main problem, that weaponry disadvantage.
They're close range, though. They got the numbers to work with. Cloud has somehow picked 3 with a classic in his hand. This is unbelievable. They shouldn't have had a chance in this round, and instead Cloud got 4 kills. Starting with that with a classic and finding 3 of them with it. I mean, I'm going to need a replay of that. I have no idea how he managed that.
I'm fairly sure that they've lost every single pistol so far in this game. And every single time in the map, there has been a point. And most of the time it was the bonus round, like where they were coming in with rifles. This time he does it a little bit earlier, where he comes out with a multi-frag that they never really should be winning.
Boo, 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 boo. He's got him back. He's got him back. Firing back. And 7-7. We're tied up again. I said the pistol was a big factor. I said I didn't expect GIANTX to force buy. Well, they didn't. They still won the round. Now we're neck and neck. And in fact, the ball's in their court. Weapons for the attackers and none for the defense.
There you go, Stinger.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Yeah, watch that get 4 kills.
It is Martine. When there's a will, there's a way. I don't know if the Mitchman curse is that strong, but we'll have to wait and see. Are they going to check? They are. No way that Tombizz survives much longer in that one. Magnum already gone. The rest of them just looking to run around the corner. And while Martine is the only one left, it will be 1 kill at least. But for the first time, well, I guess in either map, GIANTX are actually going to take themselves the lead. 8-7 up. Bear in mind as well, last time, they did actually play this map within the series, and it was the map that GIANTX won. And that was the thing that sort of surprised me in this veto. Obviously a map that KC have been very confident in, and maybe with the changes, scrim results, we don't know. But the fact is, right now, they're down.
Well, barely anyone died as well in that previous round. With the context of that and a full eco win in the round prior, the economy for GX now looks pretty solid, pretty secured for the coming rounds. A big challenge for KC on their map pick, as their defense is now really under threat. This defense being challenged on the B side. Paranoia is used as they claim control of the site. It hasn't pushed anyone back, though, because Tombizz is playing the retake. Part of the plan from the get-go for Karmine Corp. And if they do go for the B main post plan, you've got a showstopper on Martine.
Hunter's Fury used proactively, though. I like the idea. Purpo's been able to catch one as well. They've lost Redguard, but they're not allowing them to get into the retake. This adaptation from GIANTX is wonderful. They know exactly what their opponents are going for. As said, we set up this map knowing that KC love to go for the retakes. If you think Pipson and Milan aren't also looking at those VODs and working out the way they want to play, and so far GIANTX have done fantastically well just to be disruptive. Get in their face, put the Hunter's Fury through the second they're setting up, throw in Purpo to take some fights aggressively and just not allow those positions to be taken. Solid round from GIANTX, and while, okay, the showstopper will still be there, a couple of rifles will still be there, as there's nobody even remotely close to clearing out these players. The problem, though, for KC, the scoreline now starting to slip away for them.
Well, this is it. Yeah, a position it didn't look like they were going to find themselves in. And GX certainly have something to work with. I like you're saying, I like the idea from them. We've seen KC, they're not really pushed out of their comfort zone in those first 20, 30 seconds. They give up control, they step back, and they know they've got the way back in. And the problem was they were expecting, like I said, GX to plant the spike, go back in main, play that post plant. Instead, they push forward. They take those fights to them. It's a much, much better look. They're finding success. And in round number 17, double digits now possible for this attacking squad.
Passive they are.
It's the same thing from KC, the same setup, I guess, because they didn't use...
No, I mean GIANTX. I think they were expecting aggressive elements in this round. So for the first 30 seconds, they just sit there. They go, okay, they've got double flashes. They're going to want to push us. They're going to want to send Martin in, maybe with that showstopper. So let's just wait and see. The thing is, though, the read out from KC is fantastic. 4 players within this site this time. As said, most of the time they've been playing retake. The problem is they have given the game away.
They did. They did damage too. Purpo down to 40 HP. But all that utility coming through, the spams as well, it scared them. GX, though, might not be changing direction so much as changing their approach. Fighting for some mid control. Split through market possible here with still the B lurk. I'm expecting that's what they're aiming for. The smoke's on the left side of mid. Not using it more passive like you'd expect to cover their
30 seconds
cross
left.
through. I think that's just trying to keep players in position. And to some extent, it's worked. As soon as they hear that util, the wrap is back around. The players move to the site. Magnum, good for one. Showstoppers caught another, and this has slowed down the push from GX, but still, the man advantage isn't that far gone, but 12 seconds is the main
10
problem.
seconds
The
left.
plant needs to come through, and it looks like it will, but the blitz right afterwards puts them in the ground.
Oh, really good round from KC. Again, I don't mind the initial setup that we saw from GIANTX. They were passive, they were patient, they were waiting for their opponents, but this time KC were just happy to stack up a site, get the read right initially, and then just almost stick around ready to have all of that utility remaining for the end. And I think that was the main thing, is that GIANTX, because of their slow pace, because they weren't really pressuring them until right at the end, you still had a showstopper, you still had a paranoia, you still had pretty much every single piece of utility available to then delay to the very last seconds. And, well, for GIANTX, not a round you'd be hoping to lose. Luckily, because of the way the rounds have gone, they have a lot of credits, and they have their ults building up as well.
It's going to be a blitz. Or at least I thought it was from the defensive side. It's a late paranoia. They were waiting for the contact. 4 players here, and this looks more like they're trying to push GIANTX back than to actually catch them with a quick play. Drone goes up, re-smoked, rolling thunder, time to run. Showstopper searching for a target but not found it. Martin dies in the end, and Thrash claims a target, but there's no way to capitalize on it. They've got to fall back. GIANTX have earned that advantage.
This is now problematic for KC. A man down already, but I like the way that they're re-aggressing, trying to take back some control. It is being watched by Redgar, and there's a trip there as well. GIANTX instead have just opted to slow right down. The thing is, with the re-aggression from this defense, they could catch them. Top Flash looking to go over the top, trying to reclaim some space. They had the close angle cleared already by the Gecko utility, and Magnum is now going to clear Redgar, who seemed to be lost.
I think they genuinely didn't notice the trap was broken behind, and the chaos and the noise. I don't know, the flash would have helped that much, but they were definitely unaware. KC, though, unaware of the player towards the backside. Cloud's got the perfect position to pounce. He's found his one, but he won't get much more than that, and KC quickly stormed the site. I was all in on Cloud stocks there, but wow, they went plummeting.
Yeah, I don't think it helped that his entire team died.
But that was it. They buy one more second? Maybe.
I think that's the moment where he's like, guys, I'm behind them, just don't...
I got one, everyone's dead? Oh.
But I genuinely think that Redgar, I don't know if he was setting up a smoke, but they made it very clear that they were coming from behind. Like, they broke the trip, they threw a flash over the top. Yeah. So I guess that either it just wasn't commed or just...
threw the knife too.
Yeah. So
from behind.
It just seemed like, yeah, just got a little bit lost, and that was what gave them the space to basically come back in on the retake.
And to be fair, if anything, maybe I'm misreading it, but I'm fairly certain he was hit by that knife, so he could not have been setting up a smoke.
Maybe.
Is just lost in the sauce for a second. And I guess trying to coordinate the push, it got a little chaotic. These things happen. It's been tough. And at 9-9 for the side of GIANTX, they've at least still got rifles. They'll have some ultis, but not actually any good ones. This rifle round's going to have a lot on the line for them. An attack pause is called through. I think this is the worst time for both teams, really. But if you're GIANTX, you're a map down, the momentum just switched hands to your opponents. I think now they're left to just sit in this situation where they're a couple rounds from losing their opening matchup.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be if you're GIANTX. Now, obviously, this is not similar to kickoff in the sense of the format. Like we're not sitting there going, you lose 2 games, you're done for the season. It's like to get into playoffs, you need to finish within that top 3 within your group. Now, obviously, you're in the group with 5 teams. That's a little bit more difficult to do. But at the same time, you are going to be still given an opportunity. And I think losing to KC, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think even just being a little bit more competitive, we've got some signs of life. Batinho on the breach looking good. Cloud's still there. Purpo coming alive in this map at least. There's definitely some signs that GIANTX, like, say, for example, they play against the likes of a BBL or Koi, like you probably put them in that advantage spot, whereas KC, we expect them to be a Masters team. Like that's what we're looking at now. They have proven themselves at the highest degree. The issue with this map, I think, though, that will be frustrating is they've had opportunities. They've had a lot of opportunities, in fact, and some of them just seem like, okay, some quieter performances, like Redgar especially just hasn't really been there in either map, and I think that we're even seeing just blips and mistakes that are happening. And for the other side of things, you've had a couple of switch-ups, like Tombizz has said, now moving over to that Sentinel role, and it looks good. Like, it doesn't look like he's out of pocket, uncomfortable at any point, so I think it's just proving again that this KC roster, even though they haven't had much time, they've had like a week, they've still been in the lab, they've still been working.
And that's another aspect to it that we didn't even mention, because obviously I said KC being at an international event, having limited time to prep for their matches, let alone think longer term, further ahead, think about Clove coming soon as well. But the other aspect is GIANTX, whatever they've been practicing, whatever they've been mulling over, it wasn't really an aspect of Breeze, I suppose, with KC. They haven't had to show anything, whereas KC have. Like, the week preparation they have is trying to build on something that everyone else can look at or start from scratch, which again just puts you at that major back foot. I think the thing that stands to them, despite, you know, obviously their prep, they were one of the teams that was, I think, scrimming the most when it came to Madrid. Despite the schedule, they would still get back late at night and go right away into scrims. They've got the hard work and the dedication, but they just have this insane depth of young talent that no matter what happens, they can clutch out a situation. Players like Narrate, like Shin last season as well, I would say we saw him do a lot, but we saw the impact of it, I suppose. and you know, this is a squad that even Magnum, he's had his games. He's also had his bad games, but we don't need to.
No, you do keep bringing it up every time.
It's just very funny.
I don't think you've gone. Yeah, you haven't gone a single match since that day where you haven't brought that up.
I know. It's because he's just like, he's my second favorite Spartan.
Okay.
015. So
okay.
117. It's
okay.
close.
I like it. I like it where they take their helmets off.
Let's not get into that. Let's not get into the TV show. Whew. Well, I have some information for you. Okay, got you. So I was just getting filled in on what we've been waiting for. And KC had a little bit of a tech issue where they weren't able to speak to their coach, apparently.
I think it was they weren't able to call a pause. So basically, we're going back into the same place we were at. They've just won themselves the round, but they wanted to take a pause, and the timer basically was just going to go into the round. So you have to restart the round to get yourself back to the same point. Otherwise, it's infinitely more complicated. And yeah, so basically we're going to go straight into what will be a pause for KC, which it seems to be something they're doing quite a lot. When a lot of these rounds get a little bit more tight, they get a little bit more messy at times, they're quite happy to go, okay, well, we've seen that. Like, I think the thing I like with Eng is clearly a very proactive. He's not reactive. He's not looking at something and going, we just lost that round, I need to take a pause. He's going, we won that round, but I think this was a mistake that we want to fix before we lose a round. And that's something he does. We've already seen it multiple times in this match.
I think to some extent as well, the fact that you don't get those reactive pauses, you know, to each team their own style, but I think there's an element of trust within the core that you've built there, within the protocols you've established, that if you do lose to something that's blatant, your IGL can pick that up. You know, that's something you don't need to expend a pause on. You can also listen in for a second, go, wait, they're not talking about that thing they need to. Pause. There's always upsides to it, downsides, but I think Aang is a coach that should most certainly be studied. This man has done so much with so many different rosters. And now here on KC, after a splendid regional run, a spectacular regional run, a splendid international one, they now look to start this one off with success. With a win up with a 2-0 in terms of maps. It's all possible.
Yeah, they'd have
for
4
KC.
points.
Maybe racking it up.
No one else is even going to be remotely close. They'll be the only team still with points. Yeah. But of course, GIANTX still stand in their way. We're at a 9-9 scoreline. It definitely isn't done yet, and it looks like we're going straight back in to what will be this B site take once again. Already though, set up immediately for a retake. Tombizz has just spammed through the smoke and managed to take 2 heads off while he's doing it. Taking over completely. The young man from Portugal could have had himself an ace. It's not going to be happening. Should have stolen it away, but dear Lord, that was an absurd round from the youngster.
What the hell did he say in that pause, Tom? How do you set that one up?
Tombizz narrates almost overtaking you on the scoreboard.
Wake up, boy. Look at this, man. Through the smoke was ridiculous. 2 players, granted, blinded, but swinging out and just popping their heads like birthday candles. Let's go. Let's go. 10-9 for KC. Coming out of a pause, swinging. But GX aren't on their last legs just yet. They've still got some credits left to expand, and they're going to take another shot at it. Round disadvantage, but a man disadvantage now has been gifted to KC.
The peak there. I guess there must have been some sort of flash that was thrown out, but it clearly was dodged by Purpo. Able to find that opener, and it's not something I maybe a little bit overconfidence from KC after the last round. I can't really blame them.
I know exactly where.
Already. Information going to be taken. You can see immediately Tombizz is going to rotate in to try and take a little bit of extra space off the back of the TP as well. They're going to try and fake information that there's less players on A. I like the idea, using the from the shadows to try and bait things out a little bit, although it will have been heard. They've got the right players in the right place at the right time.
All about how this blitz comes down after, and it looks like it won't come down at all. GX just back out. KC, what did they hear? What did they see? They're rotating off the A site completely. They're stacking up this B site. I mean, the read is once again absolutely perfect from a dead Magnum. And now this play through, they're running into Tombizz. They try to deal with him, but they don't know how many more players are waiting. The flash through even catches Hoodie. They know where he is. That flash gave it well away, and Hoodie, well, he'll try his best, at least finding the first. Swinging up close, he doesn't know there's a player in the corner, and I heard a few more bullets than I should have, but he got there in the end.
Why's that the one we see? 11-9. Again, the round starts off well for the side of GIANTX. They get the opener. They actually get the read initially correct, but the rotations from KC are just sublime. I don't know if Eng has just the gift of foresight, and that was what the pause was for. He's like, okay, in the next round, Tombizz, you're going to get 4 kills. Round after that, they're going to initially play towards the A side, rotate back to B. Because it just looked like they had the script. It looked like they could see a monitor somewhere in the arena and just knew exactly where their opponents were going, because it just followed them all the way around the map. Martin now invested into the operator as well, and it is another buy for GIANTX, but this is slipping.
It is, and they're down to their last legs in terms of credits. Ults, you know, they could come online towards the end. Maybe Purpo and Cloud were particularly looking at a good plant or orb claim for Vitinho, and he's been doing pretty well in terms of kills. Reflash out from KC, mid-control taken, guaranteed by the fact that nobody was spotted by the Dizzy. They'll move towards this B side and the side of GX, but look at that. 5 agents have been suppressed, have been detected, and that op is going to be trained on the angle. The smoke up, well, it'll allow them to still get them when they come through. Of course, the flashes you're expecting to see. Nade going to slice up this attack a little bit. Purpo isolated, spam down. Tombizz takes him in the open, and the camera's getting all the information all the while. They have no idea that they're being spotted. Caught in 4K as KC pushed to 12.
I remember last year looking at someone like Tombizz, this guy that just a ridiculously talented duelist that could throw out a neon and look fantastic. If you told me that going into next year that he'd be one of my favorite ciphers after only playing it for a couple of maps, I think I'd call you crazy. But he had everything this round. The utility was on point, repositioning consistently, finding the kills as well. Currently sits top of the board, 23 and 14. Well, the pause button has been slammed once again. This time it's going to be GIANTX, and I can tell you for free, this is definitely a reactive pause. 5 rounds in a row for the defense. No real blip even on the radar. Like, these rounds have been clean at that. And now, well, Pipson, he's going to try and come up with something that can not only win the next round, but maybe the next 2.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think they have another pause to work with at least, so
Yeah, he
can have another chat.
He can take a pause each round until they get to 11, and then...
Oh, you're on your own, boys. You're on your own.
It also lets Eng talk as well, though, which
That's the problem.
I'd almost not want to take my own pauses.
All right, so Mazzy, I'm thinking you just do that again. All right? Well, we discussed before. Just run it back.
And narrate, if he dies, it's your turn. And if everyone dies, Shin, you clutch. But we won't see
the other team, but you need to accept that. Well, 1 round needed, 3 chances to close this out and put themselves off to a crazy start to the season. I mean, GX are a team that we consider, like, right now, I think they're the team that could be taking that 4th spot, right? Points dependent. I wouldn't be upset to see them push the international stage.
Oh, hello.
But I don't think they're one of the best out there right now. The cream of the crop. That's KC. But without Shin, they might struggle in this round. Smoke's now down. This gets a little tougher. Narrate is incredibly... Yeah, I really thought he was about to get 3 kills there.
Oh, Magnum has to be forced off by the drone. Has some counter utility. They definitely know he's there. They know that Narrate is around this position as well. Rotation coming in. This might be the moment to fall back, but actually, Hoodie moving forward. Again, the rotations are quick enough at this stage. Hunter's Fury through. It's going to be dodged, and in the meantime, while it's being utilized, pretty much everyone goes down, leaving this into just 1 player standing. Cloudy's been their hero a couple of times. He's given them a round that maybe they shouldn't in the past, but to keep them in this series, to keep them in this map, he needs to pull off a miracle. 30 seconds to do it.
30 seconds left.
Well, I think this one's sealed, signed, and perhaps delivered. Cloud, 20 seconds. They are waiting, biding their time, knowing he can't get that spike planted and kill us all in time. And with 12 left, it's a formality as to when and how he goes down, not if. Of course, it's Tombizz to pick up another. A lights-out series from him and from KC in general. 13-4 and 13-9. They're back.
Yeah, before coming in today, Tombizz had played 19 games of Viper, 5 games of Omen, and a game of Fade. Today, he picked up the Cypher and has just gone 26-14 versus GIANTX, a team that beat them on this map last time around. A lights-out performance from him and the entirety of the squad. And off the back of a decent showing at Masters Madrid, it is safe to say there are no slackers on the side of KC. They are back and looking as fierce as ever.
Yeah, listen, you can talk about prep time, showing what they've got on the international stage. They showed us what they've got on Breeze today. And there's no easy breezy map up against this squad. They are looking strong and determined to repeat last season's results. Kickoff went well, and they've kicked this one off with a flying start.
Yeah, I think as well for GIANTX, there were definitely glimpses of what we can expect to see. Purpo, especially in that second map, was looking pretty decent for Tino as well on the breach. Actually ended up top fragging, so it's not affecting his numbers too much, but I think it's definitely going to take a little bit of time before they get to the form that we want to see from them. And it's one of those games where I feel like you can definitely learn a lot from. You're going up against one of the best teams. Either way, it is the day of KC, and of course we're going over to Sue, who's waiting with Magnum.
Thank you very much, guys. That is right. I'm joined by Magnum, the IGL of Kaquka. Now, congratulations on your victory. Welcome back, by the way. We've been theorizing a little bit about what you guys learned from Madrid. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think you guys took away from that tournament?
So first of all, I think the big thing is we polished our preparation. I think we know how to prepare for matches. That is all about our game. Second, we want to win, and what we have to do to win. And third, map pool. Yeah. Like we have different, like we just have different map pool, different compositions, as you can see, and I'm feeling excited.
Let's talk about these differences because you haven't had a lot of time. You guys were at a global event, you got to come back here. So how long have you had to actually prep for all of these new things?
I think, I'm not quite sure, but I would say like 7 to 10 days. But what I can say, we are struggling with our internal office. So we are playing with 2,000 ping sometimes. So we count it like we have to like 1 to 5 rounds a preg with 2,000 ping, which is like a lot. But yeah, we play a lot of scrims a day, and yeah, that's why we won today.
I mean, you guys won EMEA. You're the kings of EMEA. So why are you changing things? You even need to, you feel like?
I mean, first of all, like we already showed everything, and second, I think we are quite a young team and like a new team, so we didn't understand like what's our strengths. But I think now we polished our strengths. We know like what we want to play, what agents, blah blah blah, you know, and yeah, that's why. And especially like if you change comp, you have new ideas, and yeah, it's much harder to play against you.
How much of this is coming from you, and how much is you know the brainchild of N and Zesh?
I think it's a team decision, but most of it always is Ank and me.
The N method, it's working, right? Is he working you guys hard? You're practicing a lot?
Yeah, we play like 6 scrims a day with a lot of review, and but it's fun.
How's everyone dealing with the potential role changes? Obviously, Tombizz on the Cypher, I feel like he plays everything at this point. You on the KO as well, on Sunset. You guys comfortable right now with your roles?
Yeah, like we usually like we try like a bunch of different comps, and then we just like talk which we like the most, and then that's how we choose it. Yeah.
Yeah, and lastly, looking ahead to the rest of your split, you have Na'Vi coming up, Food, Koi, Heretics, and so on. Is there a team that you feel like will be giving you the biggest challenge out of all of those guys?
I mean, what I can say, I don't know like from these 4 teams, but I'm happy we don't have to play Team Vitality, because oh my god, like I don't think we won single scrim against them.
Oh, yeah?
And we are getting like full destroyed. They are playing real well. But yeah, we'll see the next split or playoffs how we do.
I hope you get to play them in playoffs. Thank you very much, Magman, for joining me. Once again, congratulations. Thank you for your time. But don't go anywhere, you guys, because after the break, we're going to be bringing you Team Liquid versus Koi.
Spin the button, boy. Guess who's back? Guess who's back, baby?
The Eco Goblin.
I know a place that will break you into 1,000 pieces. Stay away from them. Stay away from Lorca, Paco, and Picasso. Don't ask about Lola. Ay, Caballo Grande. Ay, Dolor de Nieve. But in spite of everything, it occurs to you to visit Andalusia. Don't say I didn't warn you. Be careful of the Andalusian crush.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin, former professional Counter-Strike player and VALORANT coach. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle, you're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.